What's the deal with bars and Blue Moon? I went to a place in Lexington, Kentucky this past weekend called Shamrocks. Cool place, toned down, nice wait staff, nice bar, nice atmosphere. They played a lot of like weird 80s, like they played New Kids on the Block and Fleetwood Mac. Strange combination. Their fried mushrooms were epic. They had a great black bean burger. They served it with seasoned fries, but they weren't seasoned. But I'm not here to take a crap on Shamrocks. However, when I asked them if they had Blue Moon, they were like, no. There's a place in New Albany, Indiana, right across the river from Louisville. Beer Garden, it's called. Great. I'm vegetarian. Great Impossible burgers and hot dogs on Hawaiian buns. So good. But they don't have Blue Moon. It's like, what's the deal, man? Why don't you have Blue? The liquor store, 2 storefronts over from Shamrocks in Lexington, big Blue Moon sign in the window. Blue Moon is a beautiful, beautiful beer. Tastes amazing. You get your nice big orange wedge up there. But they don't want to sell it at a lot of these bars. So hence the title of this video, Blue Moon Beer Matters. Because it's a great seller. You make people like me happy by carrying it. Why don't you have it? And it's not even like these places only have microbrews, because they've got Budweiser. You know, they've got Yingling. They've got, what else did Shamrocks have? I believe they had Budweiser. I believe they had Yingling. I believe they had Miller. So what's the problem with Blue Moon? Why will you not carry? And it's not just Shamrocks in Lexington. It's Beer Garden in New Albany. It's a lot of places. They will not have Blue Moon. And it's like, I asked the bartender, I asked the waitress, I said, could you ask your bartender what beer is like Blue Moon? Because she didn't know. I asked her, she didn't know. And I'm not going to order 3 or 4 samples. I've been there before, where I'll order 3 or 4 samples blind, and they all suck. And now, fortunately for me, the bartender at Shamrocks or whatever it's called, their suggestion was pretty good, but it wasn't a Blue Moon. The color wasn't the same color as Blue Moon. The taste wasn't the same. It didn't have the citrusy flavor. And citrusy also isn't always like dead on, because Blue Moon has sort of like an orange flavor to it. If you give me a beer like Leinenkugel or something like that, that's kind of like a lemony kind of feel. There's others that have kind of a lime sort of note. Some have even like a grapefruit kind of note. Like it's to me, honestly, it's like, it's about supply and demand, right? It's about, making your customers happy. So if Blue Moon sells, so much so that the liquor store 2 storefronts over from Shamrocks had a big Blue Moon on the window, why wouldn't you have Blue Moon on tap? And you don't even have to have it on tap. That's the other thing. You don't even have to have it on tap. You can buy a 12-pack of it. Cans even, bottles preferable, but you can have whatever. I mean, I've heard people even say that cans are actually better for preserving the beer than bottles. I don't really know that I believe that, but it doesn't even matter. But they didn't even have it on, it's like, it's just one of those things that to me doesn't make any sense. You're going to have Yingling. I don't know if Yingling sells like Blue Moon. I don't think so. You're going to have Miller Lite. I mean, I just think like, and then you've got all these microbrews. Like at Shamrocks, they literally had like 24 microbrews, or maybe they were like IPAs. I don't know. At Beer Garden, the same. They've got like beers I've never heard of before. Are they selling? I don't know. To me, it doesn't make any sense. And I will tell you, as a customer, if I want to have usually I go to Drake's, which is a great bar. In fact, I might text my girlfriend and tell her, hey, don't make dinner. We're going to go to Drake's. I'm actually in the mood to drink some Blue Moon. Or maybe I'll just pick some up at the store, because that's the other thing too. When I go, see, that's what I'm talking about. Let me just talk about that quick point. When I go to a bar, I get the 23 ounce beers. I don't do the bottles. I didn't do the 16 ounces. I do the 23 ounce, which is usually like, it's usually 2 glasses or 3 glasses up before you get the 64, the big tower. I'm not going to do a tower because I will end up drinking a good 64 ounces of Blue Moon at a bar, but not in one sitting. Because if you do that, by the time you get to the lower third, it's already probably like room temperature, and there's like probably like all sorts of hopes and dreams floating around. You know what I mean? I want it to be ice cold. You know what I mean? So that's why I'd rather do 2 or 3 23 ounces instead of doing one giant 64 ounce. But the point is I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to spend the money because the beer is delicious. And it's an enjoyable experience going to take a leak and like reading whatever, signs or whatever they put up above the urinals. You know what I mean? It's a great experience, a phenomenal experience. But you're going to deprive me of that phenomenal experience because you want to be some kind of a hipster and you want to have beers I've never heard of. And you want to have beers that maybe there's one that's like in the zip code in the periphery of Blue Moon, but it's not Blue Moon. So you're forcing me, the consumer, to drink something that is a distant. It's like a distant cousin of what I really want to drink. When you can make me really happy, and you can have what I want to drink. It's just one of those things. I don't get it, and from a business standpoint, I get it even less. You've got a beer that people love, that people will order, that you can make a profit off of, but you're not going to have that beer. You're going to have phenomenal food, phenomenal service, phenomenal atmosphere. Maybe you'll be centrally located. You'll have plenty of parking, but you're not going to have the beer that your faithful, loyal customers want. It doesn't make any sense to me. I've never owned a bar. I've never tended a bar. Maybe there's something to pissing off your client base, but to me it makes no sense. And honestly, I would rather not go back to a bar that doesn't cater to my tastes. Okay? If I go to a bar like once or twice or 3 times or more, and every time I go I say, can you please have some Blue Moon? And that's in my opinion a rarity, because people are not going to go 2 or 3 or 4 times to a same place where their suggestions fall on deaf ears. But I just think it's bad business to serve 24 beers no one's ever heard of and deny customers a beer that they love. Blue Moon beer matters. What do you think? What do you think?